Hi, everyone. Today I'm going over Elijah Blue Allman's natal chart. He's been back in the headlines with the conservatorship involving his mother, Cher. But when you look at his chart, this story didn't start recently. It's been building. What I found in his chart is not random. It's a pattern, and it goes deep. With Lai sitting on his Scorpio ascendant, it's like he was born with a distortion built into his identity. Scorpio rising already walks into the room like a locked vault, like something is hidden beneath the surface. With Lai there, his identity itself becomes a hall of mirrors. People don't see him clearly. They can't. They project. They misread. They sense something is hidden and start filling in the blanks themselves. People decide who he is before he even speaks. Not because he's performing, but because the signal coming off him is distorted at the source. And here's the darker layer. With Scorpio, this isn't light distortion. This is underworld distortion. Secrets, power, control, and taboo. The kind of energy where truth and illusion gets tangled in the dark. It can pull him into situations where truth is twisted, where he's either caught inside of the lie or becoming part of it. His chart ruler, Mars, squares Neptune in the first. This is fog wrapping around the entire body. With a Scorpio rising, Mars is the engine, raw drive, instinct, the force that says, this is who I am. But Neptune in the first, that's mist on the mirror. So when Mars squares Neptune, it's like his engine is trying to fire, but the air is thick and unclear. Action doesn't land clean, and direction blurs. There's a slipping quality here, like trying to run in water. And in the first house, this isn't hidden. It's his presence, his aura. People feel it immediately. That Neptunian haze. Something elusive, hard to pin down. Neptune is the ocean, escape, and dissolving boundaries. The kind of energy that pulls people into substances that erase the edges. So when it squares Mars like this, the body and the will get caught in that ocean. It's not just temptation. It's something already tuned to that frequency. And because Mars rules his entire chart, that isn't a side note. Every action, every reaction, and every push forward runs through that Neptune fog. So even when he tries to move straight, there's always an undertow pulling him off course. Now, his Nessus conjuncting the vertex in the 8th, that's toxic. The vertex is the doorway of fated encounters. People walk in through that point and change everything. It's what you attract into your orbit. Now, put Nessus there, and the people stepping through carry shadow, power imbalance, and violation energy. Not always obvious at first. Sometimes it comes wrapped in intensity and obsession. That 8th house Plutonian pull where everything feels charged and magnetic. But underneath it, there's that Nessus current, which is control, manipulation, and lines getting crossed. This is deep entanglement with shared resources and inheritances. Altered states, taboo spaces, where things spiral fast with drugs and power dynamics. His sun conjuncts blow, 1 degree in the 8th house in Cancer. This is where his story drops into the underworld. His Cancer sun absorbs everything, like standing in the ocean with no armor. Now place that sun in the 8th house and you're not in gentle water anymore. You're in deep currents. This is the house of descent, of losing yourself to something bigger, darker, more consuming. And then his blow asteroid is right on top of his sun. And that has to do with drugs, also with failures and mistakes. And that's identity meeting substance abuse at the core level, fused into how he feels, copes, and survives. And with Euterpe there too, the musician, the artist, it's the same place that creates, but also carries the imprint of failures, mistakes, and things unraveling. The 8th house doesn't do moderation. It binds, merges, and obsesses. Cancer makes it intimate. This isn't just thrill-seeking. It's refuge, a place to hide, to soften, to dissolve the weight of whatever he's carrying. The 8th house is also inheritance, money that comes through family, the vault you didn't build, but you have the key. So now it becomes a pipeline. Resources come in, and he gets pulled right back into the underworld, into substances and escape. The inheritance doesn't stabilize him. It keeps the door open, and the cycle repeats. And when you bring back the Nessus vertex aspect, the people, the environments, and the dynamics, now there's fuel behind it. So what you get is this fragile Cancer sun sitting in the house of darkness and transformation, fused with the Blow asteroid. It's like a candle trying to stay lit in a room that keeps swallowing the light. His Coco asteroid is right on his south node. That's like walking into this life with a memory in the body, a past life memory. The south node isn't trying something new. It's the groove you fall into without thinking. So when the Coco asteroid is there, substances, escape, and altered states are already wired into his default setting. Coco carries that opiate spell. And it's in the 6th house, where things become habits, rituals, daily loops, the stuff that you do without questioning it. So now it's not just temptation, it weaves itself into his routine, into his everyday life. And here's the crack in the foundation. Humpty Dumpty is on his IC. The IC is the private world, the emotional basement, the early environment, the sense of home that shapes everything that comes after. So when Humpty Dumpty is there, the foundation itself carries the imprint of a fall. Something broke, and it was never put back together the same way. In the 3rd house, it seeps into his mind, how he thinks, how he interprets reality, like growing up in a space where things didn't fully hold together, and that fragmentation becomes part of his wiring. So Humpty Dumpty here isn't just symbolic, it's the fall, and the rest of the chart is what he does with the pieces. And it pulls him further under. A Cancer sun in the 8th is already walking through deep water. But when Pluto squares his sun, the ocean turns into a riptide. This is compulsion, power, and survival. The kind of intensity that doesn't just pass through, it takes over. Pluto doesn't ask, Pluto grips. So his identity is in a constant push and pull with something darker and more forceful. One minute he's himself, and the next he's pulled under. And because it's a square, there's tension here, a pressure that builds until something has to give. And this is where it gets louder. Substances can become a way to manage that Plutonian intensity, to dull it, surrender to it, or try to control it. But Pluto doesn't stay contained. It goes further. It wants total transformation or total collapse. There's also a power dynamic here, control, a psychological entanglement. So his sense of self can get caught in situations where power is uneven, where emotions are extreme, where everything is all or nothing. And then Pluto comes in and squares his moon. Now the thing he's trying to control can't be controlled. Pluto squaring his moon means the emotions don't stay bottled up. He can look fine on the outside, but underneath, pressure builds until it comes up anyway. So he lives in cycles: control, intensity, reset, repeat. And because it's in the second house, this isn't just emotional. It ties into his sense of security. Money, stability, what he relies on, all get pulled into that same pattern. And now you've got both lights, sun and moon, both under Pluto's grip. That's a life lived under intensity, where the inner world never really gets to rest. And then it plays out in love. His Venus in Cancer, in the 9th house, conjuncts Atropos and Ceres. This is love tied to meaning, belief, and emotional truth, but with an ending woven into it. Venus in Cancer wants closeness, safety, and the feeling of home. But in the 9th house, he's not just loving, he's searching. Love becomes a journey, something he looks for purpose and spiritual connection. And then Atropos is right there. And Atropos doesn't negotiate. She cuts. So he can meet someone and it feels significant, almost destined, like it means something bigger. And then it ends. Clean. Final. Ceres here pulls him deeper in because now he's nurturing, giving. He's trying to create emotional security through that connection. But it still follows the same ending. So love for him, it becomes this cycle. Searching for meaning, attaching deeply, nurturing, and then love ends. This is where love stops feeling safe and starts flickering like a faulty light in a dark room, because his Venus squares Uranus in the 12th house. This is where love can't stay stable, even when he wants it to. Venus in Cancer reaches to hold on. It wants closeness, safety, that cocoon feeling where love becomes home. But Uranus in the 12th, there's a hidden current, unseen, electric, unpredictable. It doesn't announce itself. It just happens unexpectedly. He can crave deep emotional bonding and then out of nowhere feel the need to detach, disappear, or break free. Sometimes it's him. Sometimes it's the other person, but the pattern is the same. So even when love feels close, it never feels stable. Now he has Ixion conjunct his North Node in the 12th house. Elijah walks around with Ixion tied directly to his life path. Ixion was a man who was forgiven, brought to the table of the gods, and still betrayed it. That energy is welded into his life theme, and it's buried in the 12th, which means it doesn't show up like, I'm about to make a bad decision. He walks into spaces where the line is already blurred, and then he steps over it anyway. So with him, it's not just trouble. It's where trust gets twisted, and it's where trust gets twisted into betrayal. And the Bilk asteroid, right there on the North Node as well, now money gets pulled into this pattern too. Taking, crossing lines, blurring what belongs to who. And because it's in the 12th house, it doesn't feel like a clean choice. It feels foggy, justified, slippery, like this is fine until it's very much not. Then reality hits after, always after. That's Ixion on the North Node here. It's not a one-time fall. It's a wheel that doesn't stop turning. And his life path isn't pulling him away from it. It's pulling him straight into it until he finally sees himself in it. Because until he does, he doesn't step off the wheel. He spins with it. I will be back soon with more charts.